2024 honestly has been a blur because it felt like it's gone by so fast. Honestly, where do I even start? So much things have happened for me. This year felt like a weird mix of chaos, growth, and cozy moments I didn't want to end. I spent the majority of my year out and about, traveling to a bunch of different places, but also spent a decent time at home and in my room. I've honestly learned a lot this year, so here's what 2024 taught me, or at least what I think it taught me. Travel was a huge part of my life this year. I spent more time out exploring the world than in my own home. Honestly, I'm so grateful for the chance to explore as much as I did, but wow, I'm exhausted. Like, good exhausted though. There were so many moments where I didn't feel like doing anything. I just wanted to crawl back into my room, lock the door, and stay in my comfort zone. But I didn't. I pushed myself, even when it was uncomfortable, and those moments, they added up. Looking back, I can actually see the growth. You know when life throws you a plot twist and you're like, wait, this isn't part of the plan? That was me this year. One of the biggest surprises? Running. I never thought that I'd be that person who runs for fun, let alone signs up for a marathon. But here we are. I didn't even train properly, but I crossed that finish line. And yeah, it was painful, but it was also one of the most satisfying things that I've ever done. It's funny how life has a way of proving you're capable of more than you think. I'm glad I did it, and I had friends to push me to do so. Between the chaos of travel and everything else, the moments I spent at home felt extra special. I started going on morning walks this year, and they've completely changed my headspace. There's just something about being outside before the world wakes up, watching the sunrise, breathing in the crisp air. Sometimes I don't even have music or a podcast playing. It's just me and the quiet, and it's honestly such a vibe. And weirdly enough, a lot of my creative ideas have come from those walks. It's like my brain is more alive when my body is moving. And when I'm not walking, I'm in my room, a space I've worked really hard to make it feel like home. I know people say you should have separate places for work and rest, but hey, we make do with what we've got. My room has kind of become this little ecosystem where I can be productive, stay active, and still chill. It's not perfect, but it works for me. And sometimes the joy really is in the simple things, like a cozy room, a quiet walk, or just being in the present moment. Letting go. That one's always tough, isn't it? For a long time, I thought letting go meant failing, like I was giving up on something. But this year, I realized it's not about failure. It's about making room for what's next. Letting go felt a lot like holding sand in my hand. The tighter I tried to grip it, the more it slipped away. But when I loosened my hold, it stayed. Calm, steady, enough. One of the biggest things I had to let go of this year was the idea of having it all together. Spoiler alert, nobody does. And honestly, that's where the beauty is. Traveling, for example. It never goes 100% to plan, but that's part of what makes it fun. Those unexpected moments, they're where the stories come from. I've learned to stop forcing things to be perfect and just let life unfold. And yeah, it's messy sometimes, but it's also so much more freeing. Letting go isn't about losing. It's about trusting that what's meant for you will find you when you're ready. This year also taught me a lot about gratitude. Truly being thankful for the little things, the moments, the lessons, even the hard stuff. Life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. And that perspective shift, it changes everything. One thing I'm especially grateful for is that I get to do this. To create, to share, to basically talk to myself for a living. It's something I dreamed about as a kid, and now it's my reality. And yeah, There are challenges, but gratitude helps me see the good even on the hard days. Also, can we talk about how underrated it is to just sit and breathe? Like, actually sit and just exist. It's basically free therapy. If you're like me and your brain is always going 1,000 miles an hour, try writing your thoughts down. Journaling on my iPad has been a game changer for me. It's like decluttering my mind on paper. Another thing I'm grateful for? Experimenting. This year, I stopped caring about the outcome and just tried new things with my content. Remember that challenge I did where I talked straight to the camera with no edits? That was terrifying, but it taught me so much about being authentic. Gratitude and experimentation has been my biggest teachers this year, and they've reminded me that the journey is just as important as the destination. This year, I really leaned into storytelling, not just in videos, but in how I share pieces of myself with people around me. I realized that storytelling isn't about having the most dramatic plot or perfect words. It's about being honest, about letting people see the messy, imperfect pieces that make the story real. And you can see that with the content that I put out this year, which I'm really proud of, by the way. The moment that sticks with me is when I was editing a video and I caught myself trying to cut out all the pauses and all the moments where I stumbled. But then I stopped and thought, those pauses, those times where I stutter, I mess up, that's where the story lives. That's where people connect. I also learned that storytelling is a muscle. The more I did it, whether it was journaling, recording random voice memos, or even rambling to a friend, the easier it became to find this story in everyday life. Like even something as simple as making a cup of coffee could be a story if you let it. And the coolest part, becoming a better storyteller didn't just help me in content. It made me better at listening to other people's story too. It's like when you start to notice the beauty in your own little moments, you start to see it in everyone else's too. So if you're thinking about telling more stories, whether if it's through writing, videos, or just chatting to a friend, my advice is start with what's true. The best stories are the ones only you can tell because no one else ever lived them. I honestly didn't think that this product would make that much of an impact on me, but here we are, talking about it yet again. This tiny camera has honestly changed the way I create. At first, I didn't think I needed it. I mean, I already had my main camera, my phone, all the gear. But once I started using the Osmo, something clicked. It's not just about that it's compact and easy to use, though that's a huge bonus. It's the way it lets me focus. With my big camera, I'd get caught up in the settings, angles, and technical stuff. But with the Osmo, it's like having a creative sidekick that lets me just create. There's something freeing about being able to pull it out and start filming without overthinking. It's made capturing the everyday moments, the ones that I used to let slip by, so much easier. I used to hesitate to vlog in public because my big camera would draw so much attention. But this, people don't even notice it. It's just me, the moment, and the story. And I've realized that's where the magic is, and the moments you don't plan for. The Osmo has taught me to let go of perfection and focus on the story. Whether it's a random walk, an unplanned adventure, or just talking to the camera in my room, it's made content creation feel lighter, more fun, and more me. I didn't expect this tiny camera to have such a big impact, but here we are. It's not just a tool, it's become a part of how I see and share the world. And honestly, there's so much more where that came from. Okay, that's it for now, but there's honestly so much more where that came from. I'm sure there were plenty more highlights, but 1, I can't possibly remember them all, and 2, it would be an insanely long video that would take a whole lot of pre-production as well. But I hope you enjoyed. I wanted to do a little something special, and something different for the end of 2024 to reflect and to express how grateful I am for everything that has happened. Anyways, 2025 is a blank page and you hold the pen. Whatever this year threw at you, use it, grow from it, and step into the next chapter ready to create, learn, and live fully. Let's make 2025 the year we give it everything we've got. You're capable of so much more than you know. Now go out there and prove it.